welcome everybody. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 31st of July. Now, if you are new to my channel, I talk a lot about the current global energies as well as the Great Awakening process that is currently happening on a very large scale. I am actually here with little Penny. You can just see her little head. Here she is. I'll give you a little peek at her. Oh, there she is. Oh, she's too sleepy. I won't get her up. No, I'll show you. There she is. So if you are new, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification as well, and I'll just get started and we'll see what comes up. Now, we've been talking for the last couple of months about the global economy and where it's all headed. Now, we all pretty much know it's headed down the gurgler, but they are trying to get, this is global leaders, they're trying to get a handle on all of this because they can feel that people are starting to panic. So they've had to maintain some sort of control and status quo so that people get that false illusion that they are managing things. I talked about it yesterday, that they're actually juggling all the balls in the air and they've got control of all this, and we don't, us little people, peasants, don't need to be worried about where all this is headed. But we all know where this is headed. But they're going to just slow things down for a little bit. I feel we're going to have this bit of a status quo at the moment. We might see a little bit of stability in the fuel prices and the cost of living and just a few things. Probably not the housing market. I keep saying that. August is the month for a lot of changes around that industry. But I am getting that the government's going to just sit idle is probably the word. It's like when you're sitting in traffic and your car's just idling, if you're, for example, at roadworks and your car's just idling and you can't take off till you kind of get the go sign and the green light to keep moving. So this is where government's at. They're sort of sitting at the traffic stop at the moment and they're waiting for the green light to go ahead. So they're going to have to sit idle for a bit. Because otherwise, as we know, like I keep saying, too many people are going to start to see the truths and they're going to wake up, and they don't want that. I said that yesterday, as we all know on my channel. So that's what I'm getting. Government at the moment is sitting idle. They've got the engine running and they want to take off, but they know that they can't just keep pushing and pushing the people. And I talked about this yesterday, that this is all a trial for them as well. This is one big experiment. Gosh, if you're here on my channel, we know this has been the biggest giant experiment. So they're also figuring all this out as well. It's not just us trying to figure all this nonsense out. Government is trying to work out how far to push people, when to pull back, what they can implement, how fast they can implement. So they're also doing all their sort of, I guess you could say, maths equations in the background as to their process of rolling things out as well. And that's what we have to remember. It's very easy to forget that. We think they can just come out, roll out the red carpet and stomp on everybody, but that doesn't work because people stand up and it sort of makes all the red carpet uneven. So this is not just a smooth path for government and these leaders as well. As you guys know, in Canada, when the truckers movement stood up, wow, it really tipped Trudeau's agenda off its course in a massive way, because the whole world, it put the spotlight on the reset for the whole world, and certainly put the spotlight on Canada. Everyone was looking at Trudeau and making judgments about everything he was doing, bringing in the UN police and all this kind of stuff, beating people up and stomping them with horses. Well, yeah, this has tipped them off their course a lot. So we have to also know that this is just not an easy rollout for them, that this has been challenging. Penny, there's her nose. This has been challenging for these leaders as well. It's the pushback. They push and we push back. They push, people push back. And this is what is good. We need those pushbacks because that's what tips them off their course. I don't know if any of you guys saw the Netherland farmers. It probably did. It's not on mainstream media, of course, but they showed them tipping all the I think it was hay and the cow poo and like spraying Parliament stairs with cow poo. It was just fantastic. And that's, again, a massive pushback because that would have stopped major roads and highways. I don't even doubt it when you're blocking it with cow shit. Oh, it's just brilliant. So these are the things. And this is why this government is always experimenting. Well, we know it's a big experiment, but with how far they can push people till they break. Like I said here, we've got strikes all the time. Every week we've had a strike since all this financial crisis sort of began. I'm sure you guys are experiencing this as well. I'll just see what else we get today. Oh, I am getting this, that the Netherland farmers have really dug their heels in. They're very stubborn. As a race, they're very strong-willed and strong-minded, and when they dig their heels in, they dig their heels in. Like, it's showing me their heels stuck in the ground. They won't give an inch. So no matter what sort of gets thrown at these people, these Netherland farmers and these people sort of waking up in these surrounding areas, they won't give in. So they won't cave easily. So government has to... This is where government has to always keep reassessing the situation, and you know, they're kind of going to have to look at that softly approach. Again, if we sweep things under the carpet, people won't see it, but they know they have to come in with a softer approach. It was like I said months and months ago with Macron in France. He took a much softer approach, and then he ended up getting in. I mean, we don't know how rigged some of these elections are, but his approach was much softer than Trudeau's because he came from a much more mature angle. So this is kind of an example of how government has to do things from a softer approach. They have to, because people aren't involved, this is the little people like us, aren't involved in the decision-making processes anymore. Have you noticed that? The global leaders seem to be just implementing whatever they like. They have to sort of pretend and give the illusion that people are involved in that process. And that's why Macron has had more success, I feel, than Trudeau, for example, because he just came in and stomped on everybody. Whereas I'm not saying Macron's perfect, but God, far from that. We know he's a leader. But this is my example of they have to take a softer approach. When they get pushback, they have to detour. And this is good. We've talked about it before here about government has to jump hurdles and move around hurdles as well, because they have to take a detour, because it's not just rolling out like the red carpet that they thought that it would. Because people stand up, people uprise, and people fight back. So now they're having to look at ways they can do this with a softer approach. So this is great. We need them to always be getting thrown off their course, because they have to rethink. This is, like I said, this is a trial for them too. They have to trial the things that are going to work. Fingers crossed none of it works, but they're implementing a lot of things now on a very large scale. And like I said yesterday, we don't even know some of the things that they're wanting to implement. I'll see where else we go with this today. I'm getting Great Britain. You're coming up a lot. We know there's a lot of changes happening there, but I'm getting this real uniting of Great Britain. You're uniting again as a nation, as a whole. And this could be around these fight backs. I do feel like you're starting to stand up because of the injustice. We're starting to see these, I always call them the truth movements, but people are coming together now to support each other through these crazy times. So I'm getting a lot of that in Britain. There's a lot of this coming together of people sort of en masse, and they're going to try and make a difference in all areas. This isn't just in one area, like not just the unjabbed. This could be vaccine injured, mandates. We know that all the industries, teachers, nurses, you name it, oh yeah, they're all overworked and underpaid and because of mandates, and we know how this all goes. But I do feel in Britain there's going to be a lot of this sort of controversy now of people rising and standing up. So I do feel like that's either around the corner for you in Britain. Just let me see where else we go. For some reason they're giving me the word typography. Now, when you think of typography, this to me, I'm not great on all this, but I did do geography at school. So typography is usually the landscape. So it's the way the land is laid out. So I do feel when it comes to this renewables, there's a lot of this looking into the landscape and the typography of what's going to be viable, what they can implement, where's the best spot to have the wind farms, where can we put the solar farms, this is a big thing moving forward. They're going to be looking at the topography of the land. Here in the Stone Mountains, we have these water dams and this great electricity schemes. They're going to be looking at these kind of things. So there's a lot of this landscape. I'm getting that for this renewables. They're going to be assessing and looking at the landscapes of where these things are going to be more viable. And typography has a lot to do with that. I'm just getting that word typography. Because they have to look for the natural elements. So where it's really windy, obviously, or where there's a lot of sunlight. They don't want to set up a big solar farm for power where it's like mostly grey skies every day. These are the kind of things now they're looking at. That sort of, it's not just typography like landscape. Obviously, they're looking at the weather patterns as well. But, this is exhausting. The typography is something that they're really looking into now. That where can they start with all their big renewable rollouts, and the funding I think is going to really start building with these areas as well, in every sort of country, but in every state too. They're going to get a certain amount of that federal funding to implement these renewables now. Gosh, they've just got this endless pool of money. It's insane, isn't it? None of us have asked for all these things, but we're getting them implemented anyway. Now the capital growth, I'm getting capital growth. Yeah, it's the rich are getting richer. The rich are constantly getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That's the big divide now. It's the wealth and the poor. And that's all there is. There's nothing in between. And that was always the goal of these global leaders, and what they're implementing is to ensure that there's no people in the in-between bracket. They have to have them, and then they have to have us. They have to have us working for them. And we know that's the way that it goes, and that's what they're wanting. It hasn't happened as yet because there's been a lot of pushback, but we do know that that's where they want all this headed. I'll see if there's anything to close with today. Oh, people are crying out for more. They just want help. They want some relief. They want some pressure taken off. So you've got to remember, these people have been fighting these battles for 3 years now. Whether it be the COVID battles, shutting down businesses, people not having incomes, people losing their jobs, people getting sick. We know people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker and not being able to work. There's so much that's been going on in the last couple of years that it's just taken a toll on too many people now, and they're wanting a break. They want government to cut them a break. They could be waiting for quite a while, because I don't see that happening soon. So that's what I'm definitely getting today. People just want to be cut a break, and they want to have a bit of reprieve from just everything. It's too much. People are just worn down and exhausted. They can't take this anymore. They just can't take this anymore. Oh, I've got a song actually that's come through. We get so many songs. We're not going to take this anymore is the song. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore. Sorry, I'm a terrible singer, but I have to sing it because then you guys normally recognise it. I don't know how. I'm not sure who the singer is, but that is the song. So go and check that out. We're not going to take it anymore. You know you're not if you're on my channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll say goodbye from Australia, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.